Hey gang, Jake here. I talk a lot about platform fighters on this channel. I spend plenty of time talking about games like Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl and Fraymakers, but it's been a long time since I had a planned and scheduled video that was about Smash. I think that just comes down to how Ultimate has treated us over the last 4 years. A ton of my videos cover games that I haven't spent all too much time with, but there's always a specific reason and want for each aspect I talk about. With Smash, I don't know that that's always there, just because so much of what I wanted out of Ultimate is already here. But now, speculation is over, at least for now. So, instead of looking at what I wanted, I want to take a look at what I got. Let's have a quick look at Ultimate's DLC lifetime, and reminisce a little bit. Let's get into it. So first off, Piranha Plant. This was a really fun bonus as a DLC first pick. It's definitely not a character that I would have wanted, but I remember watching the reveal during class and struggling to hold in laughter. That was such a good moment, and we got a really fun character out of it, so I'm really happy Piranha Plant made it in. I wasn't planning on ranking these, but just for shits and giggles, I'll give Piranha Plant a 6 out of 10. It was good, but I want to save some space up there for other characters and packs. Like the very next one, Joker from Persona 5. This reveal was really cool to see. I loved the fluid animation style, and seeing influencers like AlphaRad have their dreams come true was a lot of fun. I played the DLC before I played Persona 5, so it didn't resonate with me too hard at the time, but I liked it enough to try out the game, and I ended up falling in love with it. Looking back, that gave me a new appreciation for this pack. There's so much great content here that's filled with love for the base game. From the stage that feels ripped right out of P5's UI, to the spirits that work super well, to Joker himself and his moveset, it all just clicks. Easy 9 out of 10. Then there was Hero. Hero's not a character I just needed to see, but his reveal was fun. During that summer I took on a job, and I remember sneaking the E3 presentation in during work. While I kinda hated Hero's gameplay at the start, I've come around to it. I think they're a fun alternative to other sword users, and the spell system doesn't cause as many problems as we would have thought back then. I didn't super love the spirits, and the music kinda sounds like farts, but the stage is great, and seeing the reveal and reactions to it felt historic. Overall, I'd give it a 7 out of 10. Pretty great. Up next was Banjo and Kazooie. As a kid who grew up on 2000s YouTube, I know people have wanted this for longer than I've been kicking. It was another reveal that felt really special, but I wasn't really going nuts for it. It's kinda ironic. I know tons of people were losing their minds upon reveal, but then were disappointed with the gameplay. But I was the opposite. The reveal didn't mean much to me, but I love Banjo's playstyle. Don't get me wrong, I wouldn't actively main them, but they're great for throwing your friends off their instincts during friendlies. I think it comes down to mindset. You've really got to get in the I am a funny bear and I'm here to cause problems on purpose headspace. There's also the other content. I thought the spirits were fine and the music is pretty solid, but I love the stage. I know it makes some people motion sick, but I think the vibes are relaxing. Overall, solid pass, 8 out of 10. And then there was Terry. He's another case where I didn't know much about him before release, but popped off at their reveal and started to love the series afterwards. Seeing the passion that people like Maximilian Dude and Sakurai himself had for the KOF and Fatal Fury games made me really excited for Terry, and it helped that he ended up being really fun to play. I still suck with him, but being able to pull off bonker shit like go moves makes the character feel super unique and strong, and his general aesthetic works super well in my opinion. Side note, his stage also kicks ass, and the tons of music he brings is solid as hell. I'd give this pass a 10 out of 10, it just clicks. And now we reach the finale of Fighters Pass 1. I remember driving to school early so I could sit in the parking lot and watch this reveal uninterrupted. This was the single reveal I was the most excited for. At the time, we were told to expect Devil May Cry news on the same day, and while I understood that it was unlikely, that couldn't stop me from getting swept up in the hype. Ultimately, it wasn't in the cards, and we ended up with Byleth. Honestly, I wasn't as disappointed as you might expect. I actually really like Three Houses, and Byleth was my second most wanted character. The trailer isn't great in hindsight, but if you don't know, it's playing off a really serious moment in the game, and that combined with just how overly long it is, still makes me chuckle. I honestly love most of the game's Three Houses content. Garrick Mach is a great stage, and the music is some of the best in Fire Emblem's lineup. The spirits are all fun, albeit a bit spoilery, and overall I like pretty much every element of the past except, sadly, the gameplay. I get the way Byleth was designed, but I honestly don't vibe with it. I think playing off of Byleth's time as a teacher and letting him read to self-upgrade stuff like skills, or letting him use a ton of weapons like gauntlets, would have made the character really neat, but we ended up with someone who's kinda more boring than they need to be. Overall, I'd give the pass a 7 out of 10. There's some content that's great, but the meat of it all is just kinda okay. Up next was Min Min, who came out at an inconvenient time. She was a nice break from the whole, hell thing. Also, fun note, I actually managed to predict her in my very first video, although I already had the arms hint, and it was my only right prediction, so nothing crazy cool. Min Min is a character that I definitely don't love to play, but love to have around. So much about this character was cool to see, from her sick-ass reveal trailer, to her entirely unique gameplay style, to her kick-ass music, to the fact that she's got 2 different trans rights ults. Her spirits kinda sucked, because this was when the old make their classic mode and their spirit fights the same thing got really prevalent, but other than that, this pack was strong as hell. 9 out of 10. Then came Steve? Holy shit, this character was so weird. I think this was the single point where DLC went from bonkers to ultra bonkers. Minecraft is such an icon, and Steve's moveset in Smash is a fantastic representation of what the game is. Beyond the character, the spirits and stage work super well, and the music is some of the best Ultimate has to offer. The Holland Delarna remix genuinely brings me to tears if I let it. It's so perfect. Overall, this is easily one of the most hyped characters, so I'm glad it happened. 10 out of 10. After that was Sephiroth, who's probably got the single best trailer in the series. This character is not one I super care about, but so much of its presentation is on point. The poise with which he fights is so goddamn cool, and the music he's bringing is fantastic. There's also his stage, which, kicks ass, and his spirits, which make up what's probably the best board in the game. So much of this pack is built on the love for the series, and it shows. Also, there's the Sephiroth challenge, which was so much fun. I wish that was a standard for the series, but I get why it's exclusive to Sephiroth. It works super well. Overall, 10 out of 10. Now, I'm sorry about this, but it's time for a heaping helping of bias. If y'all don't know, I love Xenoblade II. So Pyra and Mithra's reveal was a nigh religious experience. Hearing Drifting Soul during the reveal was so cool, and it helps that the characters are strong as all hell. It's rare that I like a character and the way they play, so it was really sweet to get that out of this character. There's also the general Xenoblade II content, which kicks ass. The Spirit board has a ton of reruns, which is a massive bummer, but the originals are so good. We even get new key art of a certain very plot important character, which is perfect. The stage is really pretty, and the medley we got can just about make me cry. I love this pack, and I love this character. 11 out of 10. 12 out of 10. 15 out of 10. Perfection. Then there was Kazuya. Kazuya is not a character I super love, or super love to play, but this was a really cool experience to see Tekken content show up. The music it brought is fantastic, and the stage is one of my favorites. The spirits were generally really cool, and overall, it's all really nice to see. The character himself has tons of stuff at his disposal, and I think Tekken representation is something that should stick around if we ever get a Namco-developed Smash 6. 7 out of 10. Lastly, we've got Sora. Before we get into this, I want to say that Kingdom Hearts is a series I have tried and failed to get into time and time again. I really just don't vibe with the games. They feel either really slow or really floaty to me, and neither of those are particularly appealing. However, and somewhat impressively despite that, the Sora trailer is one of my absolute favorites. It feels so definitive, so universally happy that it's one of my only reveals where my immediate thought wasn't, oh, people are gonna be pissed. The music works super well, and I think ending the series set in a child's imagination with a character that, for a lot of people, represents childhood innocence works super well. Overall, the content is pretty solid. Sora's playstyle doesn't really work for me, but he feels straight out of Kingdom Hearts, so I think it works. The amount of love he got in all of his alts and his stage is so perfect, and Hollow Bastion might end up being one of the all-time greats. Overall, the only thing I can really protest is the music, which feels like it's missing some of the best hits. At least from an outsider's perspective. But despite that, with everything this pack does right and everything it represents, I can't help but give it a 10. So that's that. This has been a lot, and editing it is going to be a nightmare. But before I go, I want to talk about a couple of things. First off, Smash content on this channel is probably done for, at least until we get a confirmation for Smash 6. I love these games, and I love speculating on them, but I kinda want to break from it, and I'd rather talk about some other games. Ones like Framemakers and Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl have had my heart for a while now, so expect those to stay. Other than that, I just wanted to let you know about another platform fighter that's getting a new character soon, Indiepogo. This isn't sponsored, it's just to clarify, but as of tomorrow when this video releases, we're getting Meat Boy of Newgrounds fame as a playable character. It's pretty exciting, and the Indiepogo fanbase is one I've been in for a hot minute, so if you've never played the game or you haven't in a while, give it a shot. I think it's pretty fun. With that said, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.